Welcome to our beginner's guide on how to play snooker. Whether you're completely new to the game or you've seen it played but don't quite understand the rules, this video is here to help you understand the fundamentals. The objective of snooker is straightforward. Score more points than your opponent by potting balls in a specific sequence. The game is played with 21 balls, 1 white cue ball, 15 red balls, and 6 colored balls: yellow, green, brown, blue, pink, and black. The colored balls have different point values. Yellow is worth 2 points, green is 3, brown is 4, blue is 5, pink is 6, and black is 7 points. The red balls are worth 1 point each. Players take turns using the cue stick to strike the cue ball, aiming to pot the red balls first. After potting a red ball, you then attempt to pot one of the colored balls. The goal is to alternate between potting a red ball and a colored ball until all the reds are cleared from the table. Once the reds are gone, players must pot the colored balls in order of their point value, from yellow to black. In the next sections, we'll dive deeper into the rules, how the game flows, the different shots you need to know, and some basic strategies. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of how to play snooker and be ready to enjoy the game. Now that we've covered the basics, let's talk about how a snooker game actually unfolds and the key rules you need to know. The game begins with a break-off, where one player hits the cue ball to strike the red balls, which are set up in a triangular formation at one end of the table. The goal of the break-off is to scatter the reds and ideally leave the cue ball in a position that makes it difficult for your opponent to score. Once the reds are scattered, players take turns trying to pot a red ball. If you successfully pot a red, you score 1 point and then get to attempt potting a colored ball. The sequence is critical. After each red, you must pot a color, and then it's back to a red. If you miss a shot or commit a foul, your turn ends and your opponent takes over. There are several common fouls in snooker that you should be aware of. One of the most frequent is failing to hit the correct ball first. For example, if you need to pot a red but hit a colored ball first, that's a foul. Another common foul is failing to make contact with any ball at all. If a foul occurs, your opponent is awarded points based on the ball that was incorrectly hit or missed, with a minimum of 4 points. Another important rule to understand is that once all the reds have been potted, the colored balls must be potted in a specific order: yellow, green, brown, blue, pink, and finally black. This final phase of the game is crucial, as it can significantly affect the final score. Snooker also has a rule called snookering, where you position the cue ball in such a way that your opponent cannot make a direct shot at the next ball they need to hit. This tactic can force your opponent to make a difficult shot or even commit a foul, giving you an advantage. Understanding these rules is essential for playing snooker, as they guide the flow of the game and influence the strategies players use. Next, let's explore some of the basic shots and techniques that every snooker player should know. Now that we've gone over the game flow and key rules, it's time to discuss the different types of shots and techniques you'll need to master to play snooker effectively. The most fundamental shot in snooker is the straight pot, where you aim to sink the ball into one of the pockets directly. To make a successful pot, you need to carefully line up the cue ball with your target ball and aim for the pocket. This requires a steady hand and precise aim, as even a slight misalignment can cause you to miss the shot. Another common shot is the safety shot. In situations where you don't have a good opportunity to pot a ball, it's often better to play defensively by playing a safety shot. This involves positioning the cue ball in a way that makes it difficult for your opponent to score on their next turn. Safety shots are crucial in snooker because they can prevent your opponent from scoring and force them to make mistakes. Spin is another important aspect of snooker. By striking the cue ball in different spots, high, low, or on the sides, you can apply different types of spin, which affects how the cue ball behaves after it hits another ball or the cushion. For instance, hitting the cue ball low will create backspin, causing it to reverse direction after hitting the target ball. This is useful for keeping the cue ball in a favorable position for your next shot. Side spin, also known as English, is used to change the angle at which the cue ball bounces off the cushion, which can help you navigate tricky situations where a direct shot isn't possible. Mastering spin takes practice, but it's an essential skill for controlling the cue ball and setting up your next shot. Learning these basic shots and techniques is the foundation of becoming a good snooker player. Practice them regularly, and you'll see improvement in your game. Next, we'll bring everything together. Let's take a moment to dive into a real snooker game scenario. Imagine 2 players, John and Emily, facing off in a tight match. John starts his turn with a well-executed safety shot, leaving the cue ball snug against the top cushion, making it difficult for Emily to pot a red ball. Emily carefully studies the table and decides to attempt a long, challenging red. She lines up her shot, takes a deep breath, and strikes the cue ball with precision. The red ball glides across the table and drops into the corner pocket, earning her 1 point. With the red ball potted, Emily now has the chance to pot a colored ball. She chooses the black, which is worth 7 points, and lines up her shot. Knowing the importance of cue ball positioning for her next red, she applies a bit of backspin. The black ball drops into the pocket, and the cue ball rolls back perfectly for her next shot on a red ball. Emily continues her break, potting another red and following it up with the pink ball, adding 6 more points to her tally. However, on her next shot, she misjudges the angle and misses the red, giving John the opportunity to take control. John, seeing an open table, begins to build his own break. He carefully pots a red, followed by the blue ball, and continues to position the cue ball effectively after each shot. As the game progresses, both players strategically use safety shots, precise pots, and thoughtful positioning to gain an edge. The match intensifies as they move towards the final stages, with the last few colored balls remaining. John pots the yellow and green, but Emily fights back by sinking the brown and blue. The game is neck and neck as they approach the pink and black balls. Finally, Emily manages to pot the pink, putting her ahead, but leaves John with a challenging shot on the black. John takes his time, analyzing the angle and deciding to use a bit of side spin to maneuver the cue ball into position for the shot. He strikes the cue ball, and the black ball slowly rolls towards the pocket, dropping in to secure his victory. This scenario highlights how a real snooker match unfolds, showcasing the importance of strategy, precision, and adaptability. By watching and playing, you'll start to recognize these key moments and appreciate the skill involved in each shot. Now that you're familiar with the basic shots and techniques, let's quickly recap some key tips to help you play better snooker. First, always focus on positioning the cue ball after every shot. Snooker is not just about potting balls. It's also about where you leave the cue ball for your next shot. Good positioning allows you to maintain control and continue building your break. Second, don't underestimate the power of a good safety shot. If you don't have a clear opportunity to pot a ball, play it safe. Position the cue ball in a way that makes it difficult for your opponent to score. This strategy can frustrate your opponent and force them into making mistakes that you can capitalize on. Third, practice your spin control. Being able to apply backspin, topspin, and side spin effectively will give you more options when planning your shots. This skill is especially important when you need to navigate complex situations or when you're trying to set up for your next shot. Finally, always think ahead. Snooker is a game of strategy as much as skill. Before taking a shot, consider not only the immediate pot, but also how the cue ball will be positioned for your next shot. Planning several moves ahead is what separates good players from great ones. We've covered a lot in this video, from the basic rules of snooker to essential shots and key strategies. Snooker may seem challenging at first, but with practice, you'll start to appreciate the skill and precision involved in the game. Thanks for watching, and we hope you found this guide helpful. If you have any questions or want to share your thoughts on snooker, feel free to leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our future sports guides. See you at the table.